I'd like to present to you my final project for cartography. I created a series of maps showing the results of the European Union referendum in the UK that took place last year. The first map I made was just a simple map with one color to show the voting areas that chose to leave the EU and those that chose to remain. The second map I made was a graduated choropleth map, and I used darker hues for those with wider margins. And the third and fourth maps I made were proportional and graduated symbol maps respectively. The proportional symbol maps show how many votes each voting area gave for the winning option, and the graduated shows the margin. And I don't feel they're redundant. I feel like they complement each other because one shows how much each voting area contributed to the total, i.e. how much weight their decision had, while the other one just shows how the general view within the voting areas are. Like, for example, you can see from the graduated symbol maps that in a lot of voting areas in Britain there were higher margins and they supported leaving the EU more, but in the proportional symbol map you can see that they don't have very high populations, so their votes didn't count for as much as some other places. And I also made the backgrounds gray to enhance the visibility of the yellow symbols in these two maps, but I didn't do that in these maps because they were clear enough. In this map, this is my dot density map for the entire UK. I made the background gray to also enhance visibility of the yellow dots, and I decided to make one dot represent 30 people to have a map that has enough dots but isn't too clustered. But because of the cluster of yellow here, I decided to zoom into London to look at why, because I noticed this is the only place that has such a huge cluster. So I zoomed into London to look at why they voted the way they did. These two maps are of Greater London, so there's Inner London and Outer London. I know the text in general isn't very clear, but if you enlarge the map it becomes quite clear. In the dot density map of London, it's not a PDF, it's a PNG, so it cannot be enlarged. That's why I made it this big so you can see everything. The other dot density map can be enlarged either, but it's visible the way it is. Every other map is a PDF and it can be enlarged. For all the maps that I used graduated symbols or graduated colors, I used natural breaks because they rendered the optimal representation, the optimal classification of data. And in my maps of London, because the River Thames shows up and I didn't want it to confuse readers, I made it blue. I thought it would be confusing if it was white because my voting area boundaries are white as well. And also because it's blue, I put it in the legend because I know I've used other shades of blue in my map and I didn't want it to cause confusion.